At a third critical point, 3 to 4 months after conception, secretion of additional testosterone by the testes normally leads to the growth of a penis and scrotum. If testosterone is absent, as in normal females, or if a female fetus are insensitive to the male sex hormones it produces, female external genitalia, labia, and clitoris will form. Ang labia kag clitoris, both part na sila sa female external genitalia. Tapos, kag ang labia, duwa na siya ka-pair nga gasuran sa aton nga vaginal opening. Ang isa, labia minora. Amo naman na siya ang inner vaginal lips nga mas gamay sa labia majora. Ang labia minora ga-extend na sa halin sa clitoris down to perineum. Amo na sa ang skin between the vaginal opening and anus. Kag ang labia majora naman, amo na sa ang outer vaginal lips nga gasuran sa labia minora. Tas ang clitoris is a highly insensitive organ made of tissue, muscle, and connective tissue. Number 4, finally, the relative amount of testosterone alters the development of the brain and nervous system. For example, it signals the male brain to stop secreting hormones in a cyclical pattern, so that males that do not experience menstrual cycles at puberty. Evidence of biological influence. Research indicates that biological factors significantly shape the development of males and females across various animal species. Evolutionary psychologists argue that societal gender roles often reflect inherited traits, with males typically socialized for instrumental behaviors and females for expressive ones. Danjian and Inhom 2003. Additionally, twin studies suggest that genetic account for 20 to 50% of variation in self-reported masculine and feminine traits, indicating that experiences alone do not fully explain these differences. Ng example, genetic influence ng same color sang mata, hair color, height nga gakamana sa ilang parents, sa evolutionary evidence naman yan ng similar bone structures in different animals, ng humans and chimps nga ga-share DNA, ng sa brain and behavior naman sang taho kung sa mga sapat ng ang brain chemistry ga-affect na sa saton nga mood. Tapos ang hormones ginakontrol na aton emotions. Tapos ang aton genetics ng ina-influence naman na iya ang aton nga personality.
Next is evidence of social labeling influence. Manning and Ehardt's biosocial theory emphasizes that a child's gender identity is significantly influenced by shows that are labeled and treated by society. For example, androgynous females labeled as boys as birth face challenges when resigned as girls after age 3, as they had already internalized masculine identities. This suggests a critical period for establishing gender identity between 18 months and 3 years. However, studies shows that labeling alone may not significantly affect how infants are perceived and treated, indicating a complex interplay between societal labels and individual identity develop. So, evidence of social labeling influence is show that societal labels and treatment significantly shape a children's gender identity during a critical period, 18 months to 3 years. For example, is androgynous female and initially labeled as boy struggles with later gender reassignment, highlighting the lasting impact of early labeling. However, research also suggests labeling alone doesn't fully determine perceptions for treatment, educating, and more nouns interaction between societal influence and personal identity. So that's for evidence of social labeling influence. I'm Joella Blasio Gado. This part of my report is all about psychoanalytic theory. Freud's psychoanalytic theory posits that gender role develops significant occurs during the polyp stage, age 3 to 6. Boys experience the Oedipus complex involving love for their mother and fear for their father's relations. Resolving this complex leads to identification with the father adopting his behavior and attitudes. A boy's masculinity may be weaker if his father's is inadequate or absent. Girls experience the Electra complex, desiring their father and envying his penis, leading the virally with their mother. Relation involves identifying with a mother, with a father, reinforcing feminine behaviors. So, psychoanalytic theory is Freud's psychoanalytic theory suggests that gender role develop occurs during the polyp stage, age 3 to 6, through the Oedipus complex in boys and the Electra complex in girls. Boys resolving their conflicts by identifying with their father, while girls resolving their by identifying with their mother, shaping their gender's identity and behaviors. Next is social learning theory, proposed by Albert Bandura and Walter Meskel, suggests that children develop gender roles through process differential reinforcement, rewarding or pushing gender-specific behaviors, and observational learning imitating same-sex role models. Gender role develop in influenced by the social environment which shapes behavior through reinforcement and available models. So, social learning theory is proposed by Albert Ventura and Walter Meskel. So, the children learn gender roles through differential reinforcement regarding or pushing gender specific behaviors and observation learning imitating same sex roles model. Social reinforcement shape these roles by providing reinforcement and modeling behaviors. So that's all. Thank you.
Okay, so let us now focus on the differential reinforcement. It is where the parents and peers reinforce gender roles early by encouraging gender typical behaviors and discouraging cross gender activities. Daughters are rewarded for nurturing and passive behaviors, while sons are encouraged to engage in active masculine activities. This differential reinforcement influences gender identity, career paths, and abilities, such as girls being steered away from math due to parental expectations. These patterns can create self-fulfilling prophecies where girls internalize beliefs about their limitations. Peer interactions further reinforce these roles, highlighting the combined societal impact on gender development. So in the context of gender socialization, this means that parents and peers have a vital role in understanding a child's gender. Sila na ang disregard or mag-reward sa bata if bala ang ginpili sa bata is sakto or nag-align sa iyang gender. Sila man na ang nag-discourage sa bata sa dapat hindi pagpilion sa bata if bala ang ina is wala nag-align sa iyang gender. So for example, if ang bata is babae, of course, dapat mas ka-indulge sa mga games like playing dolls, more on mga pang-feminine lang or gentle lang ang mga games, while ang sa mga bata naman ng lalaki, of course, dapat mas engage sila sa mga rough plays, pwede sila ka-boxing or whatsoever because nag-align man niya sa ilang gender. Let us now proceed to the observational learning. Observational learning, this is where children learn gender roles by observing and imitating same-sex models, including parents, peers, and media. By age 6 to 7, they prioritize same-sex preferences, even over more appealing alternatives. Exposure to non-traditional gender roles at home or siblings of the opposite sex reduces gender stereotyping. Media and literature also reinforce traditional gender roles, often portraying males as active and females as passive. So, dili naman niya, mas gaka-identify sa bata ang ilang gender through observation and imitating. So, of course, if feel nila or makita nila nga payo sila gender kung ano ang i-act sang sina nga tao, sundon man na nila because kabalo sila nga amo na siya iyang kumbaga amo na ang iyang model, amo na ang representation sa sinang gender nila. So isa ka example sina is when ang sa family is naga-arrange or ano sila sa mga roles nila sa mga household chores. So of course kita nga mga babae ginaanan kita sa mga kasulod malay like panglaba, panghugas pinggan, wala sa mga lalaki naman is nagasagob sila. So with that actions or representations, if maobserbahan sa bata, of course sundo niya na ay si Manang nang laba siya, nang hugas siya pinggan. So ako kay payos kami babae, amo man ako na role. Yes, having a siblings of the opposite role can also enhance or can give them a more broader understanding about their gender.
So in Converge Cognitive Theory Gender Role Development, kids learn what it means to be a boy or a girl in stages. Number 1, around age 3, they figure out if they are a boy or a girl. After age of 3, they understand that boys stay boys and girls stay girls. And ages 5 to 7, they get that someone's a boy or a girl, no matter what they wear or do. So once a kid understands this completely, they start copying people of their own gender and learn how they should act. In this part, gender schema theory of Martin and Halversons says that young children, as young as 2 or 3, start to understand what it means to be a boy or a girl. They develop gender schemas, which are basically mental shortcuts about how boys and girls are supposed to act, think, and feel. These schemas affect what kids pay attention to and remember. For example, a boy might focus on information about other boys and ignore information about girls. This is because he's building a picture of what it means to be a boy, and that picture influences that he finds it important. First, kids learn to start sort things into boy and girl categories. Then they focus on learning more about their own gender, making their understanding more detailed. Essentially, kids teach themselves how to act like a boy or a girl based on the information they gather and how they interpret it.